It's another race preview, West London Cycling's VR series. We're outside Northwood Hill Station on your right there. This is in northwest London. A reasonably flat course, except that it's an uphill finish, if that makes sense. It's not a steep hill, but it's about a third of the course will be uphill to this finish. So we're at the top of the hill here. It is a triangular course. We're about to go right up ahead where those trees are, slowing down a little bit for the traffic. Hopefully it'll be quicker than this on the day of the race. So about 4.8 kilometres each lap. You're going to be doing around 18 kilometres over the race. Here's the right turn at the roundabout. This will look like a bend on the actual RGT Magic Roads course, of course. So we go around here, and this is ever so gently downhill. So you should start going fast after that first bend. It's reasonably flat up to that first bend, but this is a very gentle downhill on these two sides of the triangle, leaving you with the long uphill on the third side up to Northwood Hill Station again. So expect some speed here. You can see from the lie of the buildings that it's not actually what one might call a hill, but you should be going fast down here, very, very mildly downhill. It's straight all the way down to the second of the three turns on the triangle. It doesn't take too long. It's a bit of a tight turn at the bottom when we get there, so it's smoothed on the actual course you'll race on RGT with West London VR, so it won't be quite as tight as it looks here. A small mini roundabout. You can just about see that it is there is something of a descent, so there's a little bit more of a descent as we get to the end part of this road. As I say, a tight right hand bend coming up. We'll see that in a moment. We look forward to it, but still fast course here, so you expect the first two sides of the triangle to be very, very fast. Nothing too much to report. This is fairly typical suburban London style buildings, and this road heading out from Northwood to Harrow, if you know your northwest London districts. It's one of the roads that will take you reasonably fast into Harrow on the hill. So as I say, nothing too much to report. Speed pretty decent here still as we go through these suburban houses. A wet day. Most of these I've recorded have tended to be on sunny days. This one, in fact, is going to be on a wet day. That's because I actually filmed it in winter for once. And of course, the sky you see above you in this shot is the one they use on the RGT Northern Europe spring races. So here is that sharp right-hand turn. Unfortunately, just interrupted by some vehicles, but we get across all the same. A little bit of a mini roundabout there. So that is turn 2. So we've done one side of the triangle. This, again, will be very fast. This basically follows the river pin, so it's not going to move up and down, so this is going to be fairly flat, weaving alongside. You can't see the river, but it's effectively where we're heading. We're just coming out of Pinner and we're going towards Eastcote. The one little bump here is a railway bridge. I'm not sure how much this is going to affect the race. It's fairly smooth when you're riding an actual bike across this railway bridge here as we come down again, but you do get a nice speedy downhill along here as a result, partly of the railway bridge and partly of the lie of the land. But as I say, it's not. You will get some speed up from that railway bridge. Unfortunately, I was interrupted by those speed bumps when actually filming it. But you should get some speed up for quite a while off that railway bridge before we hit the bottom of the long climb back up to Northwood Hill Station. Remember, 4 laps in the actual race, so you'll be doing that hill 4 times. So make sure you understand it on lap 1. I think all the attacks will come on that hill over the 4 laps, and over the spread of the race, the various groups will get split up a little bit. I suppose, to be fair, it's a little bit undulating here. Although it's reasonably flat along the valley, there is a little bit of a rise there, which gives you a second downhill. It's not particularly steep or anything like that. I wouldn't call it downhill in the true sense of the word, but certainly you won't have to pedal quite as hard as if going in the opposite direction. As I say, we are effectively at the bottom of the valley, and I think I went fairly fast around this corner actually, still with the momentum from that little blip there, but it soon evens out as we come into Eastcote and around the back of Eastcote House. Eastcote House is not there anymore, that's long since been knocked down, but the cafe is, the garden's there, so Eastcote House Gardens, which will appear on our left in a moment, has a little cafe which we at West London Cycling quite often use at the end of one of our rides for a coffee as we come up towards Eastcote and the Eastcote House cafe, which you won't quite see, but it's on the left behind the trees when we get there. Still fairly damp on the road here, luckily not too much. I was a little bit worried that we'd get a lot of rain on the lens, but it seems to be surviving, doesn't it? So as soon as we get up to just past Eastcote House cafe, we are going to turn right into Joel Street, which the race is named after. Joel Street is a long road. We started in it up by Northwood Hills Station. So these last couple of bends, there's a couple of little twists as we go round here. The signs you can just see on your left there on the entrance to Eastcote House Cafe. Just here, so we're passing the entrance to the cafe there. As we swing around, so there's a left and a right, and then there'll be a 90-degree right, and you're into Joel Street. So Joel Street is really what the name of the race is. The race is named after this street because it is going to be the decisive street of the three sides of the triangle. So here we are, a right turn into Joel Street as we go over the little bridge of the River Pin. So that's the River Bridge, the little white railings you saw on your left. This is Joel Street. Now, it's a fairly gentle climb. I wouldn't describe this as a hill for most of the distance, but it keeps going up for quite a while, and there's a couple of what I might call steps, if you like, little ramps where it goes up momentarily to a slightly higher gradient. If you monitor the map, I think that's where you can see the attacks. On each of those ramps, I think anybody with a bit of strength can pull away and make a difference. Now we are homing towards Northwood Hills Station, of course. This is the longest side of the triangle, really, and it will feel like it because you're going uphill compared to the other two sides of it, which are prevailingly downhill, should we say. Now you can see the gradient here, it's not steep, you're not going to suffer too much, but the stronger riders will be able to make this count. And as you'll see in a moment, there are a couple of sort of short ramps which make a little bit of a difference to the climb. As we go around the corner here, you can see by the white houses, it suddenly gets a little bit steeper momentarily, and this is where I think you'll see the best attacks. And of course, over 4 laps, people will have worked out where these points are after lap 1, so they can pre-plan. And you can see it gets a bit steeper there, the speed slows down a little bit as we go past the green sign, telling us that we're now entering Northwood Hills as an area. There are hills in Northwood. I wouldn't really describe this as one of them particularly, but they are a bit further north. It does get a bit more lumpy. It's quite a steep one a little bit further north where we are. As you can see, this is going uphill. This is pretty much all the way to the finish. I mean, it just flattens out just before the station where the finishing line is. But again, you can see the speed suddenly ramps up there because the gradient evens out a little bit from what it was earlier on as we went up that ramp. And I think, as you can see, it's fairly residential. The moment you see the shops, we are into the finishing straight effectively. Those are coming up fairly shortly. You will see the signs. Well, there used to be a nice upmarket bike shop a little bit further up. So Parses Field is where the shops will start. You see on the right the green sign. That's a veterinary surgeon. We go Parses Field. I often wonder if they just use the field to test if the animals are fit again, particularly the horses. At the end of this field is a petrol station. That's where the shops start, and that's where the sprint home will be taking place on the day. Because you can see the road's now levelling out. The last few metres climb. This is the white van coming out of the side road now. We're not quite past the end of the field, but you will see this petrol station, gas station if you're watching from the USA, of course. It's do you use the word petrol? I've always assumed you use the word gas. Anyway, we're still going past the little field on the right there, and I think you can just about see the petrol station signs on the right there, the red sign, and the start of the shop buildings. You can see there's an Esso station, gas station, petrol station. This now is where the sprint will start. I would say from the petrol station, you're probably 200 to 300 metres at the most from the finishing line as we go past it, the SO sign. I suppose it's ever so gently got a very, very small gradient, but it does it almost levels out here as we go through the shops now, and we will see the railway station. So good luck on the day as we approach the finishing line. Railway station on the right. We're about to go over the railway bridge and finish. Good luck. See you on the day.